Castaneda from the Umbrella Academy. Hello, David.
What's up, Clayton?
What's up? We have Gabriel Luna from Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Hello, Gabriel.
Hello, how are you?
You're doing great. We have Xochitl Gomez from Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Hey, yo.
Hello. And then we have Yvette Monreal from Stargirl. Hello, Yvette.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for being here. And last but not least, Wilmer Valderrama from Zorro. Hello, Wilmer.
Hello.
Doesn't feel good to say that out loud now. It says from Zorro.
It's insane. Trust me, it still doesn't get easy.
It's awesome. Listen, thank you all for being here today. It's not too often we get to have a bunch of Latinos together. There's no food though, so I would like to fix that for next time. So if everyone could cook their best meals, that would be great for me mostly. So I want to start here with going around and tell everyone a little about yourself and who was the first superhero you ever saw on the screen throughout your life. And we'll kick it off with Carlos.
I'm Carlos Valdez. As Clayton just announced, I was working on the show called The Flash. For those of you who don't know, that is an iconic DC superhero who runs really, really fast. So obviously blessed to be a part of that whole legacy. The first superheroes I ever saw were mostly animated, actually. Like, I loved cartoons as a kid. So I was watching, animated Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, X-Men, and like Ninja Turtles, Captain Planet. Those were my like superhero like introductions. But I think like live action, I think I want to say the first live action superheroes I ever saw were the Power Rangers, actually. Like, that was actually the first time I saw like superheroes in full out costume, like doing, battling and stuff. And it's like this whole like, coalition, like just like, going at it together. So I think those are my earliest memories for sure.
Oh, it's amazing. David.
My name is, as Carlos said, my name is Carlos. I'm just kidding. My name is David. I'm on a show called The Umbrella Academy where I play a superhero. It's on Netflix. I got a chance to live in Mexico most of like the late 90s, early 2000s. So the first sort of superhero that I remember kind of attaching to was Neo from The Matrix. That was sort of the kind of like when your mind gets blown into believing that people have powers to use for good. And that was sort of the beginning of the, obviously Thunderbirds and Captain Planet and, Power Rangers were awesome, but there was sort of like make-believe, kind of like, I'm the red Power Ranger, I'm the green Power Ranger. But when I saw Neo break the Matrix, that was like, I must have been like in 7th grade in Mexico, and like, I was just wishing that like a Morpheus would come out of nowhere and like jump the fence of my of my middle school and just be like, David, vamos. I'd had this dream, So yeah, that was sort of my first hero.
I love the introduction that he's like, just like, come, let's go. And then you just go, right? No.
Oh, definitely not. Yeah, I would have told my grandma. See you guys later.
It's awesome. Yvette.
Hi, I am Yvette Monreal. I play Wildcat on DC's Stargirl, and my character is Mexican American. I am Mexican Chilean. My mother's from Mexico. My dad's from Chile. And the first superhero I think I saw live action was Val Kilmer's interpretation of Batman. Yeah, that was like with my parents and everything. And Jim Carrey played the Riddler. So that was my first, I think, movie that I saw live action. But my introduction was to comic books. My brother was a huge fan of comics. He would collect comic books like X-Men, Batman, Spider-Man, and so that's how I came across the world of superheroes.
Awesome. Thank you. Gabriel.
Hi, I'm Gabriel Luna. I played the Rev 9 model Terminator in Terminator Dark Fate, and I played Ghost Rider in Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Robbie Reyes, Ghost Rider. At present, I'm playing Tommy Miller on The Last of Us. Comes out in January on HBO. First time, I guess like Carlos, I think it was animated. I think it was He-Man. Was the first thing that I used to watch when I was a kid. And, and then, of course, Dolph, and they made the Masters of the Universe, which was the live-action version of He-Man, which was, looking back, I guess, I love that picture. I don't think it's considered to be a masterpiece.
No shade here. Nope, it's correct. It's still great.
It's a great movie. Langella in the full Skeletor makeup looked great. But then I think also Ninja Turtles, live action Ninja Turtles, and then Batman, Michael Keaton's Batman, 1989. I remember going to the movie theater. My mother, she's a single mother, had me and my little brother, and she took us to go see Batman. We sat down in a row. We were very early. There was no one in the theater. Started packing in. And then they were like, all right. And then we were like, I think we're a little too close to the screen. Let's just go back one row. We went back one row. Some usher comes in. Everyone look under your seats. You see a green sticker. You're going to get this badass Batman poster and some cool merch. Look under our seats. Nothing there. The guy's sitting in my seat that I just vacated right in front of me. Green sticker. Pulls it up. He's all excited. This kid is... They come and they shower him with Batman posters and all this. So that's what I remember. It's a vivid memory of mine. But those were the first. And Zorro, Wilma, very, very happy and excited for that. And of course, stories like Murieta, stories about, which I guess is like the origin of that type of idea, the masked Avenger, But yeah, that's where it started for me.
Well, such a tragic story, by the way. It was like the hardest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
My heart's broken.
I don't know, man. It just sprung to mind. I had to sit back in that.
No. Oh, I hope that person enjoyed it.
Oh, it's fine. I got plenty of posters. I got all kinds of cool stuff now. There's my Ghost Rider posters up there. Everything's good.
Sochi.
Well, yeah, I'm Xochitl Gomez. I play America Chavez in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which is just crazy to me that I get to say that. But yeah, I mean, I kind of grew up alongside superheroes, like kind of my entire life, all things superhero. So it's kind of just been a huge part of my childhood, especially, from animated shows and movies. But mainly, I mean, I played with the action figures, of the people that I'm in films with. So that's really weird, but also cool. I mainly played with the action figures because I really like their outfits. Scarlet Witch. But I feel like probably the most memorable experience I had was going to Star Wars, and they had stormtroopers in the lobby, and I had taken photos, and I love that movie so much. It was I literally went home and I binged the whole original Star Wars movies start to finish with my mom, and that was kind of the first time I remember going damn, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Which wasn't that long ago though. When I really think about it, life.
You're an old soul. That's why you're here. You get to represent now in this new generation of all the stuff we grew up with. So thank you for being here. And finally, Wilmer.
So I have the privilege and the craziest, unrealistic moment to actually say out loud that I will be playing Zorro for Walt Disney next year. And so when I reflect back into the many of the characters and the many of the things that I've had to do in my career, you look at the trajectory for some of us and for most of us on the screen, we never thought that we find ourselves in this situation where we can one day be at a panel and talk to, people that look like us, like each other, and say that we actually could play heroes too. So when I go back into some of those, titles that actually made it all kind of somehow subliminally possible for us as actors at some point, I go back to, I was born in Miami, but I was raised in Venezuela. So I'm Colombian, I'm Venezuelan, and I was raised in Venezuela until the age of 13 or 14 years old. So my first, so I used to watch a lot of syndicated shows, right? So the first thing, obviously, I watched Zorro, in black and white, and I used to watch it in Spanish, right? So that was like a big moment for me. My dad and I used to love Westerns. So we used to watch Zorro and watch every episode you could think of. Then it translated into other things like the live action Spider-Man, the live action, Hulk, all those shows from, I think they're from like the 80s, the late 80s, early 80s. But they were, in Venezuela, the content was like 10 years late, so everything we were watching was like 10 years ago, and so I watched all that stuff, and then eventually morphed into other things like, the cartoons were G.I. Joe, Thundercats, He-Man was my thing. Gabe, you talk about He-Man. I just rewatched the live action movie literally the other day in the gym. I didn't even finish my workout. I was just like, oh my God, the skeleton, So for sure, like these were some characters that really kind of invited me to be, to the thought of superheroes. So yeah, for sure, there was a lot of that. And a lot of the ones, the funny thing is a lot of the characters that I watched, all the superheroes that I watched, all spoke Spanish, which it's a really funny thing to look back at. For me, it was somehow possible.
That's amazing. And looking at this, if I was really honest with myself, like Batman, technically, I guess is the first superhero that I saw, Michael Keaton Batman, but I didn't find